diphtheria, TB. When do our children need these vaccines, and are they mandatory? Since when did kids need 2 chickenpox vaccines? It's tough to keep track of the latest research and requirements, and many school-age kids are not up to date with their immunizations. This puts them and their classmates at risk. Dr. Donna owns Texas Star Pharmacy, an independent pharmacy in Plano. She's a pharmacist and a mother of 2 children. Donna is here with us today to talk about back-to-school immunizations. It's a pleasure having you here today with us, Dr. Barsky.
Oh, it's really nice to be here. I'm enjoying this.
It's a lot of fun.
It is.
So I would like to kind of break it down for our viewers.
Okay.
What is required of, let's say, 7th graders before they go to school?
Well, in public school, 7th graders are required to get 3 immunizations. They need the second varicella shot.
Right.
They've had one. They may not have had the second one, so they need the second varicella shot. They need a Tdap, which is tetanus, diphtheria, and acellular pertussis.
Right.
And then they will also need a Menactra shot. Menactra is a meningococcal vaccine to keep them from getting meningitis.
So this second chickenpox vaccine was not always required, correct?
That's correct. It was not. But I have to tell you that the CDC tracks all of these diseases over many years. Now, what they did discover was on the children that had one vaccine when they first got the vaccines, for those who ended up in high school, they were starting to see a lot of chickenpox crop back up. It wasn't necessarily going to be a light case either. So what they decided was to keep that from happening. All of these kids who had had one immunization needed a second one to prevent that from happening.
Got it. Exactly. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So if we were to then go on to college-age kids, and maybe we'll focus a little bit more on college-age kids. Before kids go to college, what do you recommend, which is not necessarily required?
There are 2 shots that I would recommend highly. Menactra, which is the meningitis shot.
Right.
Even if a child had had the Menactra shot in the 7th grade, their senior year of high school, they need another one.
Okay.
So when they go off to the dormitories, they're going to be around a bunch of kids. They eat after one another. They sleep after, with one another. They're having parties in the dorm. I mean, if one kid walks in with meningitis, they're all going to be exposed.
And what can meningitis cause?
Death.
Death.
The problem with meningitis is you can be just fine. But by nightfall, you're ill. By the next day, you could be gone.
Wow.
It is so fast because that bacteria hits the meninges. It goes straight to the brain. The brain starts swelling. You could end up with brain damage. You can lose limbs. You can lose a kidney. You can lose your vision. You can lose your hearing.
And how is that transmitted?
Just by drinking after one another, somebody coughing in the room, eating after somebody else. I mean, all of these things.
And how about hepatitis A? How is that?
Hepatitis A is also passed in food and drink. That's the other vaccine that I would recommend highly. Because all you want is these kids to come home with an education and nothing else.
Only an education.
Only an education, nothing else. Hepatitis A follows you for a long time, but if we can prevent them from having it, if we can get them hepatitis A is actually a series of 2 vaccines. So they'll need the first one, and then after 6 months, we'd like for them to get the second one to make sure that they stay immunized.
So if I was to go to Texas Star Pharmacy tomorrow, what do I need to bring to you in order to get a vaccine?
Well, I will tell you that a lot of people walk in, they go, my child needs an immunization. Well, which one do they need? I don't know. But the nurse told me they needed one. So what we're asking is if you will bring to us documentation from the school or their nurse telling us what they need. Or if worse comes to worse, you can't find that, if you will bring their immunization records, we can look at the records and we can determine what that child needs for school.
Great. And so what do you need to know, what on your end, what do you need to know about me before giving me a vaccine?
Well, first of all, are you allergic to any vaccines? Are you allergic to eggs? Are you allergic to anything that might quite be in some of these vaccines? Secondly, are you running a temperature of 101 or more? That's not good. Are you on a steroid? Perhaps you've had a lot of allergies and they've got you on a steroid. We need to know that because your immune response isn't going to be good. Are you taking antibiotics? There again, you're not going to have a good immune response. So these things, the current health of the patient, and if there are any allergies, we need to know before we give you a vaccine.
Great. And so what have we brought here today?
Well, what I have brought, I just wanted to show the packaging. These are the immunizations that we're going to see most likely. For a 7th grader, it's going to be this one, and this one. This is the Tdap, that's the meningitis, and this one is the varicella.
Right.
Okay, this one right here is the hepatitis A. That's the one that we recommend for college universities all over the United States, as well as the Menactra immunization right there. So both of those for college kids, these 3 then, of course, for the 7th graders. For the kids going into the very first time at school, it's almost everything.
Exactly. But we are definitely going to get to that. We're going to have you back, and we'll talk about all of those vaccines. So thank you so much for being here this time.
Oh, you're so welcome. I've had a ball.
Great. And so if you would like to learn more information about Texas Star Pharmacy, go to texasstarpharmacy.com. We'll mention this site again at the end of the show. Next on DFW Close-Up, give me some sugar. We'll be back with Sarah Beth Events and their signature low-cost, decorative, and tasty dessert bars.